It started with a stupid fall. I'm talking embarrassingly stupid. Not like I was doing something cool, not skateboarding or hiking or anything like that. I literally slipped on the stairs outside my apartment. Wet steps, wrong shoes, that's it. 1 second I'm walking down like a normal person, and the next I'm on the ground, and my ankle is making a sound that I never want to hear again in my life. I knew immediately it was bad. Like, you just know. That pop. That specific kind of pain that's different from regular pain. It goes straight through you. My neighbor drove me to the hospital. I couldn't put any weight on it at all. Hopping on one foot, trying to get to his car while he's trying not to laugh. Not my finest moment. They get me into this room. Room 4. Run some scans. Come back and tell me, yeah, it's fractured. Pretty bad. Gonna need a cast. Gonna be here at least a couple days. I remember just laying there staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything I was gonna miss. Work. Plans I had that weekend. All because of some wet stairs. The first night was brutal. Bored out of my mind. Phone dying because I forgot my charger. TV only gets like 4 channels. I'm flipping between some cooking show and the local news, and honestly considering just going to sleep at like 8 p.m. just to make the time pass faster. And then they bring someone else into the room. Bed right next to mine. Curtain between us, but it's pushed to the side. Guy looks maybe my age. Could be a little older. Dark hair, average build. Nothing about him that would make you look twice if you passed him on the street. Just a regular-looking dude. His name was Daniel. Here's the thing that kind of broke the ice between us. Same injury. Fractured ankle. He slipped hiking, apparently. We both kind of laughed about it. Like, what are the actual odds? 2 guys, probably the same age, same injury, same room, same hospital, same night. We started talking just because there was literally nothing else to do. At first, it was just small talk. Where are you from? What do you do for work? That kind of thing. He said he was originally from somewhere up north, but had been living in California for a while. Whenever I asked about family or friends, he kind of just glossed over it. Changed the subject smoothly. Not in a weird way, just like someone who's used to not talking about certain things. I noticed it, but I didn't push it. Some people are just private. What I did notice was that he was genuinely easy to talk to. Smart. Pretty funny. We ended up talking for like 3 hours that first night. Just 2 guys stuck in a hospital room with nothing else to do. By the time I was falling asleep, I remember thinking like, hey, this dude is actually pretty cool. Seems like he doesn't have many people around him. Kind of felt bad about that. Before we got discharged, we swapped numbers. Followed each other on Instagram. He seemed really happy about that. Like, more than you'd expect from just meeting someone for 2 days in a hospital. But I just chalked it up to him being lonely. Made sense to me at the time. Should have paid more attention to that feeling. 2 days after I get home, my phone buzzes. Daniel. Hey man, how you holding up, LOL? We texted back and forth. Normal stuff. He asked if I wanted to hang since neither of us could really do much anyway. I figured, sure, why not? I was going crazy sitting at home alone, and he seemed like good company. He came over to my apartment complex. We just sat outside in this little garden area they have. Nothing fancy, just some chairs and plants and a patch of grass. We grabbed some snacks and just sat there talking. 2 dudes with messed up ankles on a Tuesday afternoon with nowhere to be. And at first, it was totally fine. Normal. We were just catching up, talking about random stuff. But then something happened that made me pause. We were mid-conversation and he just stopped, mid-sentence, just completely stopped talking, and his eyes kind of went somewhere else. Not like he got distracted by something, more like he just left for a second. Like the lights were on, but nobody was home. 3, maybe 4 seconds of just complete blankness. And then he snapped back, picked up right where he left off like nothing happened. I didn't say anything. Figured he just lost his train of thought. But then, like 10 minutes later, he made a joke. Dark. Like genuinely dark. Not edgy humor where you kind of laugh even though you shouldn't. More like the kind of thing where your brain goes, "That's not a joke, that's just wrong." And he laughed. Hard. Genuinely cracking up. Slapping his knee type of laughing. And then 1 second later, done. Straight face, completely serious. Like the laugh never happened. Like someone hit a switch. I forced a laugh and moved on. Told myself it was just a weird sense of humor. Except it kept happening. Every 15-20 minutes. The blank stare, the dark joke, the hard laugh, then the immediate switch back to completely flat. On and off, on and off. Like clockwork. And each time the jokes got a little darker, a little more uncomfortable. By the third or fourth time, I wasn't even attempting to laugh anymore. I was just sitting there, nodding, trying to figure out how to wrap up the hangout without making it weird. When he finally left, I remember closing my door and just standing in my hallway for a second. Something felt off. I couldn't put my finger on exactly what, but something felt off. I told myself I was overthinking it. Guy's probably just been through some stuff. Maybe he's got some anxiety or something. Who am I to judge? I kept texting him. Looking back on that, I want to shake myself. About a week and a half later, both our ankles were doing a lot better. Daniel texted me asking if I wanted to meet up at this park not too far from where I live. Busy area, lots of people. Families walking dogs, kids playing, joggers going past. Normal Saturday afternoon park energy. I almost said no. Sat there with my phone in my hand for like a full minute just staring at his message. That same feeling from before. Just this low-level thing in my gut telling me to make up an excuse. But I talked myself out of it. Told myself I was being paranoid. Grabbed my keys and went. We met up at the park entrance and started walking around the path. He seemed completely normal at first. Better than the last time, actually. More relaxed. We were just talking, laughing about stuff. It was a nice day. Warm, busy. I started to think, okay, maybe I was overreacting before. Maybe he was just having a bad day last time. We walked for maybe 20 minutes like that. Just normal. And then he stopped. I took a few steps before I realized he wasn't next to me anymore. I turned around, and he was just standing there on the path, completely still, not looking at me, looking across the park at something. I followed his eyes. There was a guy sitting on a bench maybe 40, 50 feet away. Just some random dude, middle-aged, reading something on his phone. Nobody I recognized. Nobody who looked like anything was wrong. I looked back at Daniel. His whole face had changed. Every bit of expression just drained out of it. Completely blank. Eyes locked onto this guy on the bench like nothing else in the entire park existed. I said his name. He didn't respond. I said it again, louder. Nothing. And then he moved. He didn't make walk. He ran. Full sprint across the park straight toward that guy on the bench. No warning, no words, nothing. I froze for like a full second because my brain genuinely could not process what I was seeing. And then I started running after him, yelling his name, but he was already there. He hit that guy before the guy even looked up from his phone. Just completely blindsided him. The guy fell off the bench and Daniel just kept going. Not stopping, not saying anything. Just completely silent and completely relentless. I got there and grabbed Daniel's arm with both hands, trying to pull him back. And he turned and looked at me. And I wish I hadn't seen that look. It wasn't anger. It wasn't crazy eyes or whatever you'd imagine. It was nothing. Completely empty. Like he was looking straight through me. Like I wasn't even a person to him in that moment. Just something in the way. He swung at me. Caught me hard in the shoulder. I stumbled back and went down on one knee. By then, people in the park were running over, shouting. Someone was already on the phone with 911. 3 or 4 guys managed to get hold of Daniel and pull him off. He didn't fight them much, Almost like once enough hands were on him, the switch flipped again. He just went calm, instantly. Standing there, breathing hard but completely calm while this random stranger he'd just attacked was on the ground, bleeding. Police showed up fast. They got Daniel secured. One officer came straight to me, asked if I knew him. I said, yeah, kind of. Explained we met in the hospital. They asked me everything I knew about him. I told them all of it. His name, that he was from up north originally, that he mentioned a sister once, said his parents lived somewhere nearby. I gave them his Instagram handle, his number, everything I had. They took me to the station to give a full statement. They sat in the taper waiting area for almost 3 hours, just sitting there in a plastic chair under fluorescent lights replaying everything in my head. The hospital, the blank stares, the jokes that weren't really jokes, that look on his face in the park. And then the officer came back in and sat down across from me. He had a specific kind of look on his face, the kind where you can tell they're about to say something they've had to say before, and it never gets easier. When they ran Daniel's information. Everything Daniel told me about his family, the sister, the parents nearby. None of it checked out. No records, no address that matched anything he'd described, no family in the area at all. I just sat there. I didn't say anything, just waited. The officer leaned forward and told me the rest. Daniel had been on their radar for over a year. He wasn't from up north. He'd been moving around California, city to city, no fixed address, no job, no real identity that stayed consistent for long. He'd killed his father, his older brother, his little brother, his sister, all of them, at the family home, and then 2 neighbors who lived close by, people who probably just saw something they weren't supposed to see. He'd been running ever since, moving constantly, meeting people, telling them whatever version of himself made him seem normal. Lonely guy, no friends, just looking for connection. And people like me felt sorry for him and let him in. The officer told me they'd had an active warrant out for months, multiple departments looking for him. I sat in that chair and I couldn't feel my hands. I kept thinking about the hospital room, how we talked for 3 hours that first night, how I lay there thinking this guy seems genuinely cool, how I felt bad for him because he seemed like he didn't have anyone. He didn't have anyone because he killed them. I keep thinking about to that moment in the park, when he looked at me after hitting me, that empty look. And I keep thinking about what would have happened if I'd suggested somewhere quieter, somewhere without a crowd, somewhere without people close enough to pull him off. I don't like where that thought goes, so I try not to stay there too long. But it comes back, late at night mostly, when it's quiet. His number is still in my phone, right there between 2 other contacts like it's nothing, like it's just some guy I met once. I don't know why I keep it. Maybe because deleting it would make it feel like it didn't happen. And as messed up as it sounds, I need it to have happened. I need to remember that I sat 2 feet away from that man for 2 days and had absolutely no idea. No idea at all. Lock your doors tonight. That's all I'm saying.